NFL news and rumors presented by Manscape. Go to manscaped.com/chat where you can save 20% off and get free shipping on the best male grooming products. Tom didn't like my joke. Maybe you guys didn't either.
One in months.
It's been a while since I've sent some nudes to everyone. So let's get into the news and rumors. Phillip Rivers, he is called to the career after 17 years. Decided to hang up the cleats. And
pretty quick decision, by the way.
It was.
Like, he didn't really, kind of drag this one out like a lot of quarterbacks Brett Favre end up doing in terms of retirement. And, he had a fantastic career.
No doubt.
We'll debate the Hall of Fame side of it here in a little bit. The Colts are now kind of in a unique position of, oh, shoot, who's our quarterback? The only guy under contract right now is Jacob Eason, that you've heard of before. I don't think Reed Sennett really counts much there, if I can pronounce his last name correctly. In the end, a fantastic career for Rivers. He's always going to be left without that Super Bowl ring, though. That's always going to haunt him.
I mean, when you look at his numbers, just from this past year, I was actually very impressed by him because when you look at 2019, I mean, I really thought that he was done. He was totally washed up and fit what this Indianapolis offense needed to do. They became a run-first offense. They were a tough offense led by their tough quarterback, Rivers. But, I mean, you have to at least put him in this Hall of Fame type of discussion because 63,440 yards, 421 touchdowns. I mean, those are some elite numbers, and anytime that you're in the top 5 of certain categories in terms of all-time career numbers, that's important. So here's the most touchdown passes of all time. You have Phillip Rivers at number 5 with 421. Sure, he's behind those other 4 players, but all those 4 guys, they are slam dunks, absolutely getting into the Hall of Fame, and the most pass yards of all time. He has the regular season numbers. It's just he's got that little asterisk that he has never done anything in the playoffs.
And I don't like using wins as a good way to evaluate how good a player is in his current NFL career.
I'm with
the way
you.
the Hall of Fame committee does this, though,
especially for quarterbacks,
rings matter. Phillip Rivers, especially in the regular season, a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
Absolutely.
Numbers bear that out as well, and
More
I think
talented as well.
from my eye test on top of that. But Eli's going to get in because he won 2 rings.
He's got 2
Big
Super Bowl
Ben's going to get in
MVPs.
even if he retires this year. If he goes one more year, he'll probably pass Phillip Rivers on that list. And Matt Ryan might pass him soon. Aaron Rodgers. Hell, Matthew Stafford might end up passing Phillip if he ends up playing as long as he possibly can. The only guy in the top 15 of the passing yards, or top 14, I should say, who's not in the Hall of Fame, is Carson Palmer, which I think is actually a similar-ish career.
Yeah.
Little bit more playoff success for Palmer, less time in the NFL.
Sure.
I love Phillip Rivers. In a bubble, the stats say, oh, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. But the way the NFL and Hall of Fame committee operates, he's not going to get in. He's in that Matt Ryan. He's in that Matthew Stafford. He's in that Tony Romo, a longer career Tony Romo. Caliber of player, Hall of very, very good.
Yep.
Not going to get in the Hall of Fame, fair or not. And I'd actually argue probably not that fair.
So type Y for yes or type N for no. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? Tom's typing N for no. I'm also going to type my N for no as well. Let's get into the latest around Deshaun Watson, man. Not that there's too much more news, but guess what? We got to cover the biggest story going on around the NFL this offseason. So obviously a few days ago, Schefter put out that there is a growing sense that Watson is done in Houston. Then Rappaport went out and said that, hey, the teams are starting to call up Watson and starting to call up Houston to figure out whether or not what his deal or what it's going to cost. And then today, Jeremy Fowler, puts out that the Dolphins and the Jets would be the front runners for a Deshaun Watson trade.
Which is interesting to me because those are AFC teams, and they're not in division, so the Colts are not going to have any chance of getting Deshaun Watson. Sorry, Colts fans, as great as that fit would be for you. I think as it relates to the Texans, they are still saying, no, we're not going to trade him. And I think if you're Houston, you do that for as long as humanly possible. And even up until Deshaun Watson probably publicly and or walks into ownership and says, F you, I'm out, I'm never playing a snap for you.
You don't trade him.
You don't even listen to offers.
Yeah.
Now that means you're going to get less back in return, but also you want to keep your franchise quarterback. He's a top 10, top 5, or wherever you want to rank him guy. You keep those guys happy. It's pretty simple to me.
Absolutely. So the reason why the Dolphins and the Jets were linked and basically the front runners, if you will, draft capital. I mean, it's the Jets having the number 2 pick, the Dolphins having 4 picks in the top 50, that number 3 overall pick. I thought the Carolina Panthers were a pretty interesting team. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, a lot of good receivers there. Matt Rule, I am a believer in him, and I actually think that if he goes to Carolina, he could really be the front runner.
Back home, kind of.
He could also be the front runner in that division with all those older quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The Bears, the Washington football team, great defenses, but the only way if I'm Watson, I'm going back to Chicago or going to Chicago is if you figure out what the heck's going on with Allen Robinson, because if there's no Allen Robinson, I'm not going there.
Exactly.
So here's what Jeremy Fowler had to say about Deshaun Watson and basically what they would be looking for in a trade. The baseline asking price will include a minimum of 3 first-round picks, at least one other higher draft pick, and possibly a star or ascending player.
And a lot of this depends on what team is making the trade. For example, the Dolphins' first-round picks are worth a lot more than the Saints' first-round picks.
Correct.
Just with where they're drafting, where those organizations are at. And if you trade Deshaun Watson, you also assume the future first-round picks are probably going to be later-round selections.
Hopefully.
That's
why you trade for them.
Exactly. So it depends on what players getting moved hypothetically, where you're drafting. So is it in division, AFC, NFC? All those things go in. It's not like the first-round picks are equal across the board. I think we all know that pretty well.
Yeah. So where will Deshaun Watson end up playing in 2021? It's been a question that started about 3 weeks ago, and it started off as no way he's getting dealt. And then it was like, oh, well, maybe. And then you know what? It has even now become such a question that all the guys here, we tried to rank what would be the top teams to go out and trade for Deshaun Watson. So you know what we did? We literally ranked all 31 teams' chances to go out and get the star quarterback from Houston.
Yeah,
we go 31 all the way down to 1. So if you want to go check out this show, it's on the channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're pumping out videos like NFL News and Rumors like this. And you know what? A lot of videos also like this. So hit the big red button and subscribe. Let us know what you think about the vid. Let's get into the latest now around Patrick Mahomes. And I'll tell you what, I was a little bit nervous that he wasn't going to be able to go up against the Buffalo Bills. I want to see Josh Allen and Mahomes, and now I'm pretty confident it's going to happen.
So technically he is still in the concussion protocol,
Correct.
which may or may not mean he has a concussion, but he did fail one of the questions immediately after he got up all groggy after.
I'm curious what it was.
Apparently it was an in-game question.
Oh.
That's the one that he failed.
See,
what I read.
My mindset was like, you know when you get asked, are you a human, and you got to pick all the bicycles? Was it like
the recaptchas?
There you go. There you go. I couldn't think of the name. That's what I thought about.
I don't think they're giving him a recaptcha on the field, Mitch.
Are you a robot?
To see if he's a robot.
I want to know if he's a robot.
He took all the snaps, was a full participant in practice today. He is still in that concussion protocol. There are various steps he has to clear.
Sure.
But he's going to play. Unless he suddenly starts getting symptoms of a concussion, like migraines or headaches, something later on in the week, he's going to be fine. So this is a very clear sign to me. Mahomes will be out there against the Buffalo Bills.
More Carson Wentz discussion going to the Indianapolis Colts. And you know why? It's pretty freaking simple. Phillip Rivers, he retired on Wednesday. And when you talk about getting Carson Wentz back to being his MVP self back in 2017, it was with Colts head coach Frank Reich. Well, it's been something that we've talked about. Obviously, he was benched. Could we see Carson Wentz potentially going to Indy?
If Carson Wentz is trying to force his way out of Philadelphia, I think the Colts are the most logical destination. Because of the presence of Frank Reich, because of their gaping hole at quarterback, where Phillip Rivers, of course, has retired now. Jacob Eason's on the roster. He's a developmental wild card. Who knows how good he's going to be. Jacoby Brissett is a free agent. Also, not the solution, by the way.
Agreed.
So from that perspective, if Wentz wants out, I think the Colts are the logical fit. Now, I think you might have to see Carson Wentz adjust his contract. There was a report that he was amenable to doing that to make it easier for Philadelphia to trade him and thus easier on his new team. But allegedly, NFL head coach candidates interviewing with Philadelphia are being told that the Eagles think Wentz can be fixed, which means ownership and the GM who love Carson Wentz are still trying to make it work. So maybe Philadelphia ends up keeping Carson Wentz for a year and try to fix their former franchise quarterback.
And I mean,
because he was broken last year. There's no way around it.
I mean, it's mechanical. I think it's the mindset. He was
mental.
Not only broken. Oh, I was going to say he might be more soft mentally than actually physically, and he's dealt with a ton of injuries. But just like anytime you see something, right? Like, I mean, I feel like it's the reason why we still talk about Josh Gordon, because there was 1 year he was great. This was the 1 year that Carson Wentz was like, wow. This could be one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, not just in 2017, because before his ACL injury, he was the MVP frontrunner. And not only that, you thought this is going to be the face of a franchise for not just 10 years, could be like 15 years, because obviously he was a young player. And now we're sitting here saying he might not even be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But when you saw those 2017 numbers, the 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, that was with Frank Reich, as Frank Reich was the OC in Philly. I get the connections. I just don't know if Philly can honestly look themselves in the mirror and say, we missed on Wentz, and they're going to try to get rid of him.
I think from an internal perspective, that organization doesn't want to bail on Carson Wentz quite yet. Part of this will be who they end up hiring it as
Sure.
head coach
That's
as well.
very true.
I mean, I could see a scenario where Josh McDaniels trying to get a head coaching job again is telling him, oh, yeah, I can totally fix Carson Wentz.
Anyone that's going to come in is going to say they can fix him.
You get hired as a head coach because you tell the decision makers what they want to hear.
Correct.
And I suspect that the decision makers want to hear, hey, Carson Wentz is our guy.
Yep.
That's what I suspect that they want to hear right now. So we'll see if that actually ends up being the case. But I think Rivers retiring does help Philadelphia. In the event that they want to trade him, there's an obvious potential destination, and if they get a second one, maybe they can end up recouping more in a trade.
So where will Carson Wentz play in 2021? If you think it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles type PHI, maybe it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts type IND. If you think it's going to be somebody just totally different, comment that team below. I am still going to type PHI because I am a believer that it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. However, if it's not going to be in Philly, I am also a believer that it's going to end up being with the Indianapolis Colts.
I think the Colts and Eagles are the two most logical fits for Carson Wentz.
Hey guys, go get yourself the perfect package, 20% off and free shipping. How do you get the best deal on the internet? Go to manscape.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping. Why is it called the perfect package? It's simple because if you use everything in it, you're going to have yourself a perfect package. The Lawnmower 3.0, it's got an 8-hour battery life, a little light there at the end so you can see in those hard-to-reach places. And if you're trying to shave your down under, if you're trying to shave all of these areas here and be silky smooth, there's no other better tool to use than that one. Now, the boxers, the traveling case.
Right now.
You got the boxers on?
Do you want to see?
Yes. Oh, my gosh, he does.
I have them on.
Put him up. Pull him up.
I'm not. Okay, fine.
Do it.
Hold on. I'll give myself a wedgie for you guys
Do it.
here.
Yes. Tom's got on the boxers so you can see. See how flexible they are. I mean, Tom's got them up around his nipples right now. They are the most comfortable boxers you guys will ever wear. Plus the traveling case, that's free in the perfect package. Also, you get ball deodorant, which I hope he's got on right now because they were being choked in that scenario. Plus some ball toner. It's basically a little refreshing spritz to your downstairs. Their slogan is, your balls will thank you. And not only will your balls thank you, your wife, your girlfriend, maybe, I don't know, some other person that you randomly just met on Tinder, they're going to thank you. Get the perfect package, 20% off and free shipping. It's at manscape.com/chat. Let's get into the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors, Tom. Doug Peterson could potentially be sitting out a year. He's been linked to the Seahawks job. Talk me through the latest and what's going on here.
This isn't a massive surprise. He told one of the Philadelphia Inquirer reporters that he's leaning towards taking the 2021 season off. Typically, that's a logical move for a coach of his status. He's going the Mike McCarthy route.
Okay.
I got fired, but I won a Super Bowl. I'm going to take a year off, give myself some time, and frankly be one of, I think, the top head coaching candidates next season.
Oh, yeah.
This does impact a couple different NFL teams. I think several of them, including Seattle, had interest in Doug Peterson as the OC. It might be a one-year stint, but I'm intrigued by that one. He's been an OC before, of course, has had play calling, input, responsibilities, that kind of stuff with Philadelphia and kind of with Kansas City as well. So it's a disappointing development for Seattle. They cast a pretty wide net in terms of their search. As we sit, there appear to be 5 guys who make the most sense right now, and more will come, I'm sure. 3 Chargers guys, Anthony Lynn, Shane Steichen, and Pep Hamilton. Adam Gase of the Jets, which
makes no sense.
Yikes. Dave Canales, I think, is going to stick around. And then 3 names that are out. Peterson, which we just mentioned. Elliott, the Clemson OC, seems prepared to stick around and wait a little bit as the Clemson offensive coordinator. Mike Kaff going to stick with the Chiefs as well. Kirby Wilson, by the way, the Raiders backs coach. We will get to that in a little bit. With Peterson out and with the candidates being linked, it seems like there's a good chance that the Seahawks end up going back to a run-first philosophy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as much as I love Kirby Wilson, I don't know if he's ready to call all the shots here. So go down in the comments section and let us know. Reply to this one. Who should the Seahawks not hire as their offensive coordinator? All the time here at Chat Sports, we talk about who they should go out and get. Now we want to know, who do you want to avoid?
2 words. Adam Gase.
I was going to say, I think everyone.
Not him.
I think everyone at the same time, if we would have been like 3, 2, 1, Adam Gase, everyone would have said it. So go down in the comments. Let us know who should the Seahawks avoid to be their next OC.